pay attention and learn as much as you can from him. And as we're working and flowing, stop in, introduce yourself if I haven't had the chance to introduce you, because I just didn't get it. Thank you, Sensei.
You know, I want to explain one of the most important things for me to teach here today. It's not exactly how I do things, but I think the most important thing to teach you is to understand what a student is, okay? There's two types of people that does martial arts, okay? One is a practitioner and the other one is a student. Now, the practitioner is someone who practices what the sensei teaches you, and they love people like that because they continue pushing what they teach. The other one's a student. So what is the difference? A student is a person who studies, somebody who take what is taught to you, and then you dissect, you analyze, and you experiment to make that art your own. Because, see, I'm a different build than Bob. I'm a different build than you, okay? I can't do what you guys do because you're a lot stronger than I am. Regardless of what it looks like when I go to perform my art, it doesn't mean that I am stronger than you. It means that I'm strong in my shell, okay? So to be a practitioner, I'm studying everything that anybody teaches me. But to be a student, you study yourself, right? The best teacher is not myself, it's not Bob, it's not anybody else. The best teacher is you, because nobody knows you better than you, okay? Because I hear a lot of people say, well, when you stand in Sanchen, it's totally healed. I never do that. I always tell you, how do you feel? How's your balance? Right? If you and I were going to fight, okay, the most important is, how balanced am I? Okay, when I step in and I go to hit him and I'm off balance, once I hit him, I could knock myself off balance, right? If I came in and I stepped into a nice firm anchor stance where I hit him, I am going to stay solid, I'm going to stay grounded. We all use this word grounded, right? What does grounded mean? That means we can get the most out of what we put out, right? And then we hear people say that when your back foot, when you do Sanchen, need to be straight. Now, why is your back foot straight? What is the importance of having your back foot straight? Because the Okinawans tell us our back foot needs to be straight, right? Why does our back foot need to be straight? Because when you go to punch, and I want everybody to feel this, are most of us here right-handed? Good, because you're left-handed. Sorry. Anyway, I want you to put your, stand in the left side chair, okay? Now, what I want you to do is take that back foot and angle it in, okay? Because when you fight, that's how most people fight. They like to stand angled. But if we learn Uechi Ryu and the Okinawans tell you your back foot needs to be straight, why? Do we fight like this? If you and I were going to fight, would I stand and explode my entire body for you to hit? No. So we stand sideways, right? And our back foot like this angled. But then you can say, well, that's wrong. You're not standing with good Sanchen. The reason why our back leg needs to be straight is because it gives you 100% torque when you go to punch. So what I like for everybody to do is stand in the left Sanchen and angle that back foot. Now I know in that stance you feel a lot more comfortable. Let's say you go to throw a punch, right, with your right hand. Don't move that leg. Just put your leg up. Do you feel your hips keeping you from delivering the most powerful punch that you can? Because your hip is angled, you can't get 100% torque. But if your back foot is straight, now let's punch and straighten that back foot. So now you're getting 100% torque in your punch, right? And this is why they always teach you back foot straight. Not to mean that when you go to fight somebody, that you need to stand square and keeping your back foot straight and exposing the entire front of your body to fight. It means that when you go to deliver a strike, that your back foot and your toes should be aimed at your target, which gives you 100% torque. Okay? So when we're standing in Sanchin, when my students do Sanchin in my class, I don't say straighten your back foot. But when you do your Sanchin arm thrust and your back foot is not straight, then I'll say, why isn't your back foot straight? Because that's how you deliver 100% torque when your back foot is straight. Otherwise, your hip is keeping you from turning. Okay? So let's get rid of this myth that says that when you're standing in Sanchin, that your back foot needs to be straight. Okay? The only time that back foot needs to be straight is when you're delivering a strike, and to be able to allow yourself to deliver 100% torque, then that back foot needs to be straight ahead. Okay? And to say that you're anchoring your foot all the time, so it doesn't move, right? Nobody's gonna nail to your foot. Your foot can move all the time. You know, anybody remember the Flintstones? The cartoon of the Flintstones. You ever see Friday night in the fight, at the fights, they take a club, two guys stand there and they beat each other. Well, that's not what we're doing. You have to learn how to cha-cha. You gotta learn how to dance and move. Everything is about balance, right? If I come in and punch at you, my first foot, my first step, sets my position. When I go to strike, my second foot anchors my punch to give me the best punch I can deliver, right? You're only allowed 2 steps. Okay, any more than that, you're gonna get punched in the face. Right? if I put up your hands to fight, if I step in one, and then I come in and my foot isn't anchored, and then I go to anchor, you're gonna stand and wait for me to punch? No, I'm gonna get punched in the face, right? So this is why in kata, when you're doing kata, I'll tell people, when you step, make sure you don't take more than 2 steps. Like in Seisan, we do a double nukate, right? Right from your double nukate, you're supposed to pivot here. When I turn, I'm in another good sanchin. I don't do this, I don't do a double nukate, and then when I turn, I readjust my leg. Because you don't have that time when you're fighting. This is why kata is so important. There's only 2 aspects of karate. There's kata and there's kumite. When we talk about kata, we have everybody say, well, no, kata's not fighting. Then why are we doing it? Right? Isn't martial art an art of fighting? Right? And you say, well, you know, don't worry about kata. You know, they said, well, I can't do that when I'm fighting. They said, oh, don't worry, kata's not fighting. That's bull. Because if it isn't fighting, why are we doing it? Your kata teaches you the movements within your style. You see praying mantis, fight out of the praying mantis movements, right? When you do tiger crane, everything is coming out of your stances, right? And how you get your strength. Whatever your style is, your style teaches you to fight within that style. Okay? So kata is one of the most important things in the world. What you were doing this morning with the hold your windows, that is the most important thing that people don't pay enough attention to. Because your hold your windows are the way you're supposed to make the move. When I go to block and fight, this is how I do my blocks. When I throw my punch, that's how I throw my punches. So when you do your hold your windows, when you block, punch, cross block, that's what I do when I fight. You throw your right punch, I block, and I hit. Your hold your windows are very important. So people just to go through the throwing around, it's wrong. You got to do them correctly. Chinese Kung Fu, they do not teach you the whole form all at once. Why? Because there's too many moves. So they break them down into single movements. When you learn all those movements, then they put them together as a complete form. The holy windows are the same thing. Okay, you learn your rising block. When you do that in your carpet, say ching. That's what you do in say ching, right? So whatever you learn in your exercises, it's very important that you do them correctly. Now, there is a lot of things when I travel throughout the world to watch people do their carpets. There's a lot of things that I would do. I wouldn't use the word wrong, because if I use the word wrong, I'm insulting the instructor. And I try my best never to insult anybody else teaching. When they do something that's different, I want you to understand where you're going to get your most power. And I want you to try to feel it. Like when I teach online, you hear me say, well, try this. Does that feel stronger? Does that feel better? I never tell you anything is wrong, because I do not disrespect another instructor by saying what they're teaching you is incorrect. Because there's no such thing as incorrect. It's just different ways of doing things that fit you better. And what fits you better? The only person that can tell you that is you. I can make you suggestions on how you can make different changes. But you have to agree with the changes and work that way accordingly. Okay? All right. I don't want to talk all day, because you guys and nobody puts on the key to listen to me bullshit. Right? And so we put on our keys to work out, and so I want us to work out. Okay? And the first thing I want to go to is our waoki. So I say to people, this is how we do our waoki. Okay? So I say to people, how many people study Uechi Ryu? And most time everybody puts their hand up, and then I say, how many of us spar? And most people put their hands up. I spar, right? How many people use the waoki when you're sparring? And they're looking at each other. Well, why don't you use the waoki? Because this waoki is 50% of your style. If you don't use the waoki, why do we practice it? Right? Why would you do something in your carpet that you don't do when you're fighting? Right? Does that make sense? Well, you do use it, you just don't understand that you're using it. See, your waoki, this movement, is an all-encompassing movement. Everything we need in our fighting system. It's in that. This is why the waoki is so important. Because this waoki, not only is it not one block, I break it down to 6 blocks, and that's what I'm teaching you today, right? I'll do a slight demonstration here. Now I'm here. Throw your left punch, right? That's my first movement in my waoki. It's a block, but don't forget, movements are movements, right? It doesn't mean it has to be one. Right punch, right? That's the second. Okay, low punch with your left hand, right? That's your third, right? Low punch with your right hand. That's your fourth. Middle punch with your left hand. That's your fifth. Middle punch with your, that's the sixth. That's all part of your waoki, right? If you look at what I just did with my hand, all those movements are there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the waoki movement, and I think that other styles can benefit from this, because you can use those same blocks, right? So I'm going to teach my waoki bonkai. When I first came to Florida, I went to Tampa to work out with Frank Norman, and Gary Wong, when I was practicing, he goes, oh, that was so me, what is it? And I said to Frank, that's my waoki bonkai. He goes, really? Can you show me? And I showed him the bonkai. He goes, can I record it? I said, yeah, by all means, please do. And then he recorded it, and I don't know what he did with it. But obviously, it seemed like he was teaching it. Right? And Sensei Matson was the same thing when I went to Florida. I I demonstrated the Uechi Bonkai. He recorded it, but he's teaching all aspects of it. Now, a lot of people say, well, George Matson's always taught soft. No, he didn't. Because the Sensei Matson always taught soft. Van Cannon would be as high as he is. Bob Bentley would be as high as he is. Jack Summers would be as high, right? Campbell would be as high, right? Jimmy Maloney, all of them was high. The only person that does anything soft is me. But point I know means what? I have soft, right? How the hell are you a master of point I know if you don't know anything about soft? Right? Are you a master only half the system? Right? Well, if you study point I know, half high, half soft, right? What part is soft? And then you get knuckleheads that come out and say, well, it's breathing. Well, what the hell? Everything breathes. Are they masters of what Uechi? Everything that's alive breathes, right? Are they masters of Uechi Ryu? And the answer is no. So how is breathing the soft aspects of Uechi? Okay, so before I go into the Uechi Bonkai to teach you, I want you to understand the concept of hot and soft. Force is mass times acceleration. We all know that, right? I mean, it's more formula than that. Most of your hot stuff is linear because your hot stuff needs more mass. Your linear movement contains the mass of your body in your movement, right? And everybody's different. That's why somebody who's bigger, heavier, stronger, they're gonna say, oh shit. But when you talk about soft, it's the circular movements. And your Uechi is circular. So if you don't understand that this is your soft movement, then you really don't understand Hongainu. Okay? Because I see so many Uechi people do the Uechi, and it's hard and it's strong, right? But I can guarantee you, no matter how strong you are, if you take this block when I'm punching, you're not going to stop my punch. It's easy to say, well, I'm putting a lot of strength and I can feel the movement and how hard I'm doing it. But there's nobody punching at you, okay? If there's strain, just mean that there's strain. It doesn't mean that it's strong. It doesn't mean that it's effective. The only way is, the three words that I use, is to dissect, to analyze, and then to experiment. So what I did with the Uechi is I dissected each and every move that is within the Uechi block. Then I analyzed them. How do I use them? How are they effective? And then I experiment with them. Okay? And that's the only way that you're going to be a real student, if you know how to understand all the movements. Okay? So let's go through the movements right now. Okay? And we're going to do it without stepping, but they're stepping. Because nothing is done standing still. Like I talk about the Flintstones, you don't stand in and beat each other with clubs. You have to be able to move, right? And to adjust. So let's do this without moving, just to learn the movements, okay? You know what? I'll do it backwards. You guys are mostly right-handed. Let's do it like the right-handed. And then we can do the left-handed later. Everybody get in the left hand chain. Okay. The first movement is the hard movement. All it is you turn this hand this way, right? And you rotate your body. Okay. Now, I want you to realize the power of your block does not come from your shoulder or your arm. No. It comes from your body. This is why I say you drop your hand and you rotate your body. Okay? Now, can you come up and help me for a second? Now, I'm here. When you punch with your right hand, this is what I do. That's all I do. Right? And I'll show you something really quick. Here's a front flick. Right? That's from hold your windows. So when the punch comes in, right? And that goes right for the eye. Okay? So Thank you. So let's just practice that first, the very first move. What you want to do is, oh, by the way, when you guys are practicing it, please don't extend your hand. I want people to go home today with all the facilities, right? I don't want you poking anybody's eyes out. So it's here. When somebody punches you, you turn your hand, let's do it slowly, then you rotate your hip. Now you see what I do with my right hand, or your left, okay? Nothing does nothing. That's, there's so many things I gotta throw in. Nothing does nothing. Everything does something all the time, okay? So if my hand was here, right? No, I'm serious. This hand, if you turn this hand and turn, and this hand comes out here, this hand is doing nothing. You can't do that. When you turn, you block here. This hand is in the middle of your body, protecting your body, all right? And if you want to attack the person, you extend your hand, and it goes right into his eyeballs, right? But we're not going to do the extension. And when we practice with each other today, there is no extension. All there is right here, okay? Ready? Let's do number one. Ready? Hey! Right here. Now, another thing I insist is that everybody remembers, okay, everybody look over here, right? Watch. You see where his hand is? That's a good block, right? But it doesn't protect his ribs. The one thing I insist on is the elbow being a fist away from your body, okay? So when that block comes across, right, the elbow's a fist away from your body, okay? The only time it leaves your body is when you're ready to strike. When you're here, you turn, and then when you're ready to strike, you snap your hand, it goes right into the eyeball. Now, you do not use your arm. If you use your arm, there's a tendency to over-exaggerate. If you use your arm, you have a tendency to be out here. Your opponent's here, you're not going to hit anybody here. When you turn, that's facing your opponent's eyeballs. Okay, right here. Let's do number one again. Ready? Number one. Hit. Okay, let's do number two. Number two is your left hand. And it comes right across your body. And it's the same thing. One is this way, this one is this way. Okay? So number two is here. Okay, no? Yeah. This is the block, not here. So here's number one, right here. Right? Here's number two, right here. No, face me with this hand. Because just in case I'm trying to hit you, that's covered. Okay, let's do that again. Right? Number one. Number two. Right? This is, remember, one high, one low. Okay? Now, let's do 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's do number 3. 3. Okay, stop right there. Don't move. Right? You see how low your hand is? Okay, you see the distance you have from your body? Who's pretty fast in here? I want somebody who's young and full of vinegar that's really quick. You're quick. Come on up here. Oh, thanks for volunteering. Okay. I want your hand right here, right? See, down here, right, you're that far away from your body. Okay, and up here, you're that far away from your body. Okay, now, I'm going to hit you right here. And I'm not going to hit you hard, just a touch, right? And I want you to block my hand. Ready? Well, this is only 5 you get. Ready? Ready? 3 out of 3, right? Put your hand here. Just do it. Ready? Let me do that again. One last time. I can't hit him. I'm not even getting close. What is the difference? Because when your hand's here, you get that much distance to protect yourself, right? I'm hitting him before it even registers in here. But if your hand was here, I can only get here. If If that was closer, I would hit me here. Now, when you block down, your hand is this close to your body. What is the difference between having 2 inches here and 2 inches here? There is no difference.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh, I wasn't talking about those 2 inches.
No, I do that from the other direction, in the camera, sir.
Okay.
Do you mind doing that from the other way, like switching around so everyone else
Okay.
can see?
So when you're only this far away from your body, that's the only distance you have to cover the punch.
Right?
So your low block, it's never lower than your belt. Okay? Now, anything below here in Uechi Ryu, you block with your knee, you pick up your knee, and you block, all right? Thank you. So when you do your Wauki, this here you have to understand is a low block, right? If you block this low, this is the only distance you have. You block up here. Anything lower, you block with your leg, okay? So we talk about blocking legs with legs. We're talking about blocking hands with hands. This is why in Uechi Ryu, this low block is never lower than your belt. Any lower, you make the distance too close to your body. So when I see so many people do blocks, they do this, they drop their hands down here. That's, you're wasting this move. This move is a block, right? If you're doing this, then it's not a block. Okay, so let's do number 1 again. Ready? Number 1, number 2, now number 3. Everybody check your belt. You don't want to be any lower than your belt. I just got out and playing. Every time I get off, my throat gets dry. Okay, so let's do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, 4 is here. You see how my fingers are back so I don't get my fingers caught? And just so you guys understand, I am not using my arm and my shoulder strength. I'm using my hip. Watch me again. Number 1 is here. I'm using my hip strength. Number 2, you see my hand doesn't even move, it's my hip. Number 3, it's my hip. Number 4, it's my hip. Number 5, it's this block here that we're so used to. Right, that's number 5, okay? Number 6, it's a straight block, straight up. Comes back. The right hand is high, the chest height. Yes. And then you yeah, it's like that. The front leg is the strike. And when you strike, it's not out here because your opponent's only this small, right? They're only coming around. You want to hit, right? And then after I hit, watch my elbows, right back to here. Okay, don't move. Hit, don't move, bring it back. Bring your elbows back. Okay, don't move. See that? Right in front of your ribs. You can't hit you because your elbows are there. But when your elbows here, I can hit you, right? This is why having this here is so important. Okay, let me tell you something really quick too. 3 aspects of waging that we teach in this system that we don't really do in a lot of other styles, right? One thing is waging room that's not go with these low, deep stances, right? Like I used to do in Kung Fu. I don't do that anymore. I'm up here like this. Now, why do we have an upright position? That's waging room. It's an upright position. Because it allows you more agility, allows you to dance around. When you ever see any boxers box like this? No, the boxers are up, right? The boxers are up like this so they can move their leg, right? The other thing that waging room concentrates on that a lot of systems do not is that we punch them up here. and not here. Now, why do we punch from here? Because from this distance, when your hand comes up, you have more mass behind your punch. Any elevation takes away from your mass. I'm not saying it can't be strong, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't punch strong. Of course you can. A lot of us can hit really hard from here. But we're talking about the signs of fighting, where you can get the most out of everything you do. So Uechi teach you to punch from here, so you can get the most. Not that you can't punch hard from here, it's here you punch harder, where you get more of your mass behind you. Number 3, everything we do in Uechi, your elbow comes back, your nuke attack, elbow comes back, right? Your rich hand, elbow comes back, right? We teach you good defense, right? Good defensive posture. When I fight with people, when I spar, people don't realize it's all Uechi principles. I'm here. When I fight, this is how I fight. If I switch, I'm still here. I'm still a fist away from my body, and my stances are these low, restricting stances. I'm more upright so I can move. My elbows away from my body. So when you throw a kick at me, I don't even move my arm. You can't hit me because you're hitting my elbow. And the only time I move is if it's too high and I have no choice, right? And when I do move, it's 2 hands or I step out of the way, okay? So those are the 3 principles that Uechi teach you. Upright position, so you can move, right? And striking from here, so when I punch, I'm using the entire mass of my body. Like boxers, when boxers punch, they don't drop their hand and punch unless they do an uppercut, right? And we don't really come way back here. That's kind of exposing what you're gonna do. A lot of times when I do Sanchin, I don't even do this. Sanchin is just go out from here. And that's when they train on my own. When you're boxing, you only punch here. You don't do this when you're boxing, right? You punch from here, right? So why do we need to do this? So if I'm fighting, and this is Sanchin, a lot of times when I practice my Sanchin with my students, they're standing angled like a fighter. When I say each, they pivot their foot and they punch, and then they step, knee, they pivot. And this is how we practice our Sanchin. We do punches. Sometimes I'll go each and go 1, 2, and they do 2 punches. They'll go 1, 2. That's all part of Sanchin. You might say, no, Sanchin is just this. Why? Why does Sanchin have to be restricted to just doing this? Right? Then you're restricting your training, restricted to your possibility of movement. Okay? All right, let's go through that again. Oh, by the way, this movement here, number 6, when I do this, it's linear. It looks circular, but it's linear because my power is in the straight movement, and my power is coming back. It only looks circular because I'm moving my hip. I'll do it slow. It's straight, here and back. I come out straight, and my hip comes back. So it looks circular. I'm doing here and here. This one here actually is soft, okay? So what is the difference between soft and hard? If he punches with the right hand, that's hard. You see how I did that? I come out here. Now, my grab is because I turn my hip and I can grab, okay? My soft, a hammer can move a whip, but a whip cannot move a hammer. So when he's throwing this hammer at me, I have to use a hammer versus a hammer. It's just like a freight train coming at 100 miles an hour. And I'm turning the tracks by doing this to make it go sideways. Soft, I can't do that. Soft, I have to move myself. Okay? So when I do this movement here, if he overpowers me and brings my hand in, he still can't hit me. My hand is still here, right? It still gives me room to kind of counter. Okay, thank you, Lord. The difference between hot and soft is a hammer can move a whip. A whip cannot move a hammer. So if a whip cannot move a hammer, you have to adjust. So when my block comes in, my body is stepping out of the way. Now if it doesn't, and you force my hand in, my hand is still in front of my body, so the punch is still gliding by. Okay, so my hammer moves a hammer, but my whip, I have to move out of the way. Okay, and my Konchiwa is the same way, just so you know, right? My first movement in Konchiwa, I'm here. My foot is this way, and I push out. That's my first wauki. And I step, so I have room to hit. My second movement in Konchiwa is a soft movement. When you punch, I have to step out of the way. Right? My third movement is Konchiwa. I'm learning how to attack. Right? So I'm in just that one kata. I'm learning how to do that in 3 different ways. Whereas the way we do it now is you turn. Now if I did this, isn't this the same as what I just did? And then I do this. You're doing 3 movements, which is the same. So what are you gaining from it?
Yellow belt and a whole lot. A yellow
No.
belt.
But the way I train is that my first movement, I learn how to do it hard. I'm here, when the punch comes, I direct your punch by me, so I can hit you. My second one is that I step out of the way, right? That's a soft move. My third one, I learn how to attack with the same movement. So I'm using that movement in 3 different ways. Whereas the other way we're doing it, we're using it one way, okay? So you just do, I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff, but I only have one day. Bob says 1 day you're out of here. I get no choice. I get try to fit as much in as I can, you know? So anyway, let's go through that again. Everybody, here's number 1. Here's number 2. Now, this here should be a center of your body. No solar plexus. Center of your body. Now, why is that in center of your body? Let me tell you, nothing does nothing, remember? Why is it the center of your body? Because if I get overpowered, right? Here's my number 1. If you overpower me, I have another hand here for support. Here's my number 2. If you make a fist, you're punching with that. If you overpower me, I have this support. Okay? Now, punch low. If you overpower me, I have this hand here. What happens if you do a move and your hand is out here, then something is doing nothing. Right? Nothing is nothing. Number 1 is here, right? I have to super side chin. It's here. I'm still supporting, okay? Number 2, I'm still supporting. Number 3, I'm still here supporting this hand. Number 4, I'm still here supporting this hand. Number 5, right? Coming up, I'm still supporting this hand. Number 6, this comes straight out. My hand is still here. Okay, now you understand why that second hand should always be centered. Okay? Let's do that again. Okay, everybody's here? Now, after this time, we're going to include the movements. Okay? Here's number 1. And back. Number 2. Okay? Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Now, bring back, just like in your waoki. Now, don't move. Hold your position. Now, everybody see where his elbow, where his hands are? That's kind of girly, you know? hand, you're gonna hit something. Who hits anybody like that? You know, the elbow comes back. That's right. So when you go to thrust, you have the entire weight behind you. See that? But like this, with this hand up here, that's gonna do nothing. All you do is, okay? Let's try it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back, now elbow back. 7 and 8. Cover your ribs. Oh, okay, I was just gonna hit you. You moved too quick. Ready, let's do that again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Elbows back. Thrust. Back in front of your ribs. Good. Okay, now let's start the stepping. Number 1 doesn't move. You have to be anchored, because number 1 is a hard move, right? If you punch with your left hand, this is a hard move. I anchor myself, that goes by, okay? Number 2 is a soft move. You might as well stay up here and help me. So, number 2, when you punch middle, when I block with this hand, because it's soft, I get a step, okay? Now remember, when you step, you always want to face your opponent, because you have the advantage. When he goes to punch at me, he's facing me here. I step, he's facing that way, I'm facing him, okay? So number 2, I want to step this way, okay? When you punch low, right, when I block here, because it's my front hand, it's still soft. I have to move. Punch low there, it's still soft. Punch middle, that's still soft. Number 6, I'm anchored. I block here, and I come into here. Okay? So let's go through the movements. Okay, everybody should be in a good left side check. Okay? Number 1. Okay, number 2, take your left out leg, you step out with your left leg first, you block, and then you look right at your opponent. Okay, this hand should be up here, not down here, bring it up. Okay? Number 3, we block down, but you gotta take your back leg and step out. That's number 3. Okay? Yeah, this hand should be facing your opponent. Okay? Number 4, right? We step out with our left leg. And make sure you maintain your left arm chin. Okay? Number 5 is a circular block. Your opponent is here. Make sure you're looking at your opponent. Your opponent's right here now. Number 6, he's gonna punch. You're gonna go straight out, don't move. Straight out. Back here. And then step into him and hit him. And then elbows back in front of your ribs. Okay, let's do that again. Now we're gonna do this 2 more times, and then I have you team up with somebody. And then we'll go through the punches, okay? Don't move. Well, you know, I can't go and make adjustments and talk about and show you what I like to see you do. If you're moving, oh, you're moving, you're cheating. See, this is something you need to get used to, so it becomes automatic. That the palm should always be shoulder width, okay? Why is it shoulder width all the time? Because when I go to punch you, if your arms are in here, I can still hit you. It's gotta be shoulder width to make sure that punch is gonna go by you. This hand is never like this. You know why you do this? Because we're standing square, right? And no, you have a natural tendency, say, I gotta protect myself. It's a natural tendency. But if you don't fight square, you fight sideways. It should be shoulder width. This should be a center shoulder. It should be like this. The only reason why here shoulder width is because you're standing square. Okay? Shoulder width. Okay. And your hands should be slightly downwards. Okay, why downwards? Why would your hands, okay, relax. Why would your hands be downwards? Because when I go to block, I can't grab him with my hand upwards. Hand's gotta be downwards in order to grab. The other thing is to understand the Wing Chun. Wing Chun is always be on the outside, but take the inside. So if I'm blocking here, I'm on the outside, I take the inside.
How? What do you mean by that?
Well, because if I go to hit you, I gotta hit you on the inside.
Okay.
So I block on the outside, so my body is not in jeopardy.
Okay.
But my hand takes the inside, so now I can hit you. Because if my hand is on the outside, I can't hit you. Right? It's impossible. So the understanding is to block on the outside and to take the inside. So I can come back and hit. Okay, do you understand that?
Yes.
And plus, when my hand's down, I can grab. When my hand is up, I'm grabbing nothing. So every single time you block, it's always down, so I can grab. And when you're down, you're on the inside.
So you would, since I'm sorry, you would never, like somebody would punch, you would never block to the inside and.
No, you can. I'm just saying when you're blocking, you turn down.
Okay.
Okay? And I want you to feel something else. Okay? Take your hand and go like this. Now bring your hand toward the middle. Do you feel your elbow wanting to come out? There is no protection. So that hand should be here. Now take your fingers and point up. You feel your elbows coming out? That's why your hand should be here. And it keeps your elbow in. There's a lot of benefits to having your hands here. Your hands being here keep your elbow in place, you're able to hit, and you're able to grab. If your hands are out, your elbow comes out, you're exposed, and you can't hit from the outside. That's why the hand should be on the inside. Okay? And that's why your fingers should be out and not up, and that's why your palm should be down. That's why you see so many Uechi people do this. But do you understand why you do this? See, now you know. This way here, keep your elbows in, keep your palm looking down, right? There's a lot of things that are beneficial in Uechi that they don't talk about, that people who don't really understand it, they don't talk about it, they don't understand it. But if you do all the crazy things that I do, I spend all morning, why the hell do we do that? Well, no, that's how I learned. You know, did Bob always send you any of the things to show me doing kata? My kata is never as powerful and strong as I can do it. My kata is always like this. Because I want to feel my body, I want to feel where the power is. You know, if I turn my hands too early, look at my hand. I want everybody to try this because I don't just want to talk to you and have you not do it. I want you to feel it. Pull your back hand back to here. Now, I want you to take your palm and turn down. You feel your elbow wanting to come out?
Yes.
Now you're no longer protected. Let's just say you're punching, you're striking at somebody. So you're punching, right? You got a fist and you're punching, right? If you turn your fist, your elbow comes up. But if your elbow comes out, and that elbow is protecting your ribs as you come out, then when you turn it at the last minute, because you can't help it, once you get by, you're not protected anymore. Anyway, that's when you turn it. When you turn it too early, you're not exposing yourself. See, these are the little things that I work on in my katas all the time to get a better understanding of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Okay? So let's go through that again. I stray off, but I always come back. I talk to him. So let's try that again. Number one. Okay, now, number two, we step out. Number two. Not too much, because your opponent's at 45-degree angle. Okay, so if you took 90, you know, that's still too much. Number three, hip height. Number four, no. Number five. Number six. And strike and back. You know, I don't go and talk to you two. It's because you guys are doing all right. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring this. You know, I watch everybody and I try to, it's just the ones that I see. No offense. Okay. So I want everybody to find a partner about their height, okay? Because we're gonna try to use that. Yeah, turn around there, buddy. Okay. 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 Now you guys gotta decide who's gonna punch and who's gonna block. Okay, let's talk about the punching. We didn't go there yet, okay? Don't punch hard, and don't punch fast. I want you to be punching about this fast. Ready? You guys ready? Watch how fast I punch. Number one. Okay? Number two, walk with that hand. Okay? Number three. Number four. No. Okay. Number five. Shoulder. Number six. No, come out. And then back. And then come in. Okay? It's only six. Okay? So with your partner, if anybody has any, you need some help, just go like this. And I'll come running over. Okay? And do it on your own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you need help and I don't see you, raise your hand. No, punching. You're punching this side. Hey, when you're punching, make sure you're punching at your opponent. Because if you're punching aside, you'll stand there looking.
Especially this week, I can aim.
Okay. When you're punching, it's middle, middle, low, low, middle, middle. Okay? So there's two middle punches. Middle, okay, and back. Middle, low, low, middle, middle. Okay, you get it? Middle, middle, low, low, middle, middle. That's easy, right? Middle is, low is only in the middle. Middle is the first one. Right here.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, wait a minute. No, I said number one. Number one is this thing.
Oh, okay.
Number two is. No.
Left.
Nothing middle. And outside. So you have to get the center wall. You're not trying to get
They're trying to get that ready. The water also. Yeah, I see that.
No, he's right, Hey, everybody listen up. If you don't punch at your opponent, the blocks aren't gonna work. So let's take the first one, right? He does this number one, okay? Like this. If I'm not punching at him, if I just do this, he ain't gonna get it right. I gotta go right in the middle of his body, right? And in number two, I gotta go right at the middle of his body. Now, number three, I'm gonna punch slow. Now, watch, right at his body, right? Number four, right at his body. If I don't punch at his body, if I punch out here, it doesn't do him any good. Okay? Then go right at your opponent's body. If you're slow, you're not gonna hit him anyway. Right? You're not gonna get a lawsuit. Go right to the middle of the body.
I'll give it a No, that's okay. That was my realization.
Hold on. 3, sorry. 4,
Here. Middle.
5, 6.
Yeah. Good
Right
move.
there. Good job, ready? Middle. Top. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, way up my punch. 5, 6.
I gotta keep yelling around.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's
People
see.
shred their
More
face.
time. Minimal footwork.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Well, you know what? You guys are just learning. You're making a big difference. Don't try to rush it. Oh,
Yeah.
You just have to look over.
Start from the top again.
Yeah, nobody's getting
The
Yeah.
thing that actually, realization, I got there is, so like when you put this first I'm also asking, there's a huge difference there, right? And
There we go. That was a good move to do. That's what we tried to do last game. Yeah. One more time.
6. Even by 5.
Yeah, okay, so then, let me toss back to you, we'll add in the footwork part of it.
Protect your ribs.
Yeah, that's good. Please. All right.
So first, no movement. Second one is figure step. 3.
Yep. 4.
That makes sense. And this one is, that was weird for me. That's right.
Okay, now, I know this isn't, yeah, stay with your partner, okay? I know this isn't a regular workout that I usually run, but I'm gonna do something now that I usually do in my regular workouts, right? So with your partner, what I want you to do is stand, and I don't care how you stand, right, left, neutral, it doesn't matter. Put your hands up. Now, punch to your left. Okay, go back. Punch to your right. I just want you to practice that number one. Right here. Now, I want you to step in the hip knee. Okay, now go back. Again. Right? I want you to hit, I'll hit you. Okay? So I want you to practice that block. Now, don't move, don't move. If he doesn't move, my punch is gonna come right, no, if he doesn't move, right? I want you to come right in and hit him, right? So I'm gonna come right in and hit him, but he's gotta block. Okay, now, nice and slow. But I'm gonna try to hit him, because if I don't hit him, if I just do this, there's really no sense of him moving, right? I'm gonna come in and hit him, so he can learn that block by just adjusting the distance, right? So if I'm gonna come in, don't move. When he sees me this close, he knows I'm gonna hit him. He has to block. So he's learning not only the block, but to learn how to fight and use that block. So I'm here, I'm coming to hit him, and he blocks, that's good. Now the other side, I'm coming in, too far, you gotta be aiming at my eyeball. You see how many fists has already passed? I can't hit you, right? But you can hit me, right? So that's all I want you to do, is to make sure I can hit you, but you can take my eyes out if you really want. See, but make sure you aim right for my eyes, right? See, the reason why you're too far is because you're using the rounds. Use your hips. Use your hips, just rotate your hips. See, now you're aiming right at my eyes. Use your hips. See how you're aiming right at my eyes? When you use your hand, you have a tendency to go too far. Don't use your hands, use your hips. Because your hips, I'm going to punch a little faster, okay? Don't poke. Okay, my eyes. Okay. This. See, now you learn how to use that block. Not just say, oh, this is how it's done. You actually get to practice the timing. Now, I do that in my class. Like, I usually wouldn't do it in a seminar because I'm afraid somebody poke their eyes out. But you guys seem pretty much in control, right? Guys with glasses are safe. Let's go. You can punch, but you don't have to go too fast. Just make sure you punch for the middle of the chest and let your partner practice taking that block. No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just rotate your hips. Yeah, rotate your hips, that's all you need to do. No, pull your hips.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's hard too because you want to use your arms.
Pull your hips.
There it is.
Okay, stop for a second. We're getting a little lazy here. Right? Hey, watch me and him do this again. Tell me what the difference is. Okay, ready? So what is the difference between what I'm doing and what you guys are doing? You guys are doing this.
Not close enough.
I'm making him learn his distance. I'm making him learn his timing. I'm stepping out. So he's learning his timing. He's timing my hand and he's turning his body correctly. See, that's what we're gaining. We're gaining timing, we're gaining precision. Okay? So don't stand and do this. Right? Because when you're in a fight, you know, you're not doing a dance. Step back and step in the hip. Okay. Okay, you gotta say to yourself, how far apart? I'm not gonna put you on. Hey, listen up. When you're in a fight, how far apart do you stand from your opponent? Because I'll tell you, you and I are gonna get in a fight. I would never stand this close. Because hey, if you get this close, I'm going to whack you before you get any closer. I stand out where I'm safe, right? If you're going to really get in the fight, I say, can you kick me? Can you punch me? I'm safe. Put your hands up. Now I'm going to punch, right? And I'm in a safe position because when he reaches his hands out, he can't hit me. But if I stand here, it just go pop, right? I gotta stand in a safe distance. I step in, that's one. I step in, and I step in, stand in a safe distance, right? I mean, I'm old now, get the distance in, all right? Practice.
Come and teach us.
Teach your opponent. You guys are in there working with each other. Okay, did both sides get the practice? Okay, let's do number two. Number two, I expect a little more dancing, right? When he punches my right hand, right? I'm stepping out, right? So, slow down with it. All right? So, because, you know, I'm used to it, so I don't want to.
I want to distract you, punch, not just a little.
Oh, okay.
Far away.
Okay, so anyways, let's go to number two. That's the cross walk.
I'll step out.
Yep, right, punch, like in middle church, right?
Yeah.
All right, hey, I just told him to block and go to the outside. Do you know why? I don't care how big you are, how strong you are. There's always somebody bigger and stronger. So, oh, he's still stronger than me. Well, anyways, I don't want to get caught on the inside. When he punches like a fist, and I'm here, well, guess what? This is wide open to smack me again. So I want to go to the outside, okay? When I go to the outside, I'm looking at him, he's looking this way. It gives me the advantage, right? But if I go to the inside, I'm blocking here, I'm looking this way now because my body's turning, he's looking right at me, right? I always go to the outside. When that punch comes in, I go to the outside, all right? Because I'm not the biggest guy in the world.
That's back to a jump ball.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, let's practice going to the outside, right?
Okay, so good. Okay, so, no. Sensei, can you, Sensei, do that block.
You don't have to go above.
You want to go above or below the elbow like that?
Well, okay, you know, there's a good question asked.
Well, then it's an intern,
There's a very good question asked. He says, on number two, do we go here or we go below the elbow, right? We don't want to go below the elbow. Why? Because when I'm here and I go below the elbow, how close is his hand to my face?
It's already there.
Right? This is why when I block with this hand, I want to be as close. By the way, in China, we call this the bridge, the cow, which is from here to here.
The bridge?
The bridge. They call it a cow. A cow means the bridge. This is the bridge between your weapon and your power, right? That's why they call this the bridge. You block from the bridge. So when the punch comes in, I want to block the bridge. If I block here, see how close he is? If you punch any harder, right, I'm going to be missing teeth. Right? Look like I'm playing hockey, right? So I want to block from out here. Now, if I use both hands, and I use this hand, then I can divert this and take this and move. I can go behind the elbow then. But
You're still blocking the bridge, even if you move the arm.
oh, while we're here, I think I'll go a little bit off track, right? To something that I know I won't have time for, so I'm gonna go into that. You see these move here that we call fish tails, right? Most of us are using the fish tails. I won't say the word incorrect. You're not using it to your best benefit, right? Because your fishtails, everybody think that this is a soft technique, and then you get people doing this, and they're conducting a band, you know? Your fishtail is not a soft block. It's a hard block, which people don't understand. It's Wing Chun. It is the only time we ever block to the inside. So, no, I'll do it from here so you can see. When the punch comes in and I block, it's not my hand, it's my body. And I block here, and this hand is a strike, right? Now, when you punch with the other hand, I block, and this hand is a strike. So when I practice my fishtails, it's not soft, it's hard. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when the punch comes in, right here, right, you block here, and this hits here. The reason why we don't extend because there's nobody here, so we're just doing this. But when you see people do stuff like this, you go, what the hell are they doing? And especially when it's up and down, I'm going like, it looks like we're swimming in a swimming pool. They call it fishtail, doesn't mean you're swimming, right? It's straight across, but the block is a straight block with the cow, not the ridge. I mean, not the wrist, it's here. And this is palm, it's here. And then when you punch with the other hand, it's here and it's here. Now, you look at these blocks, right? I don't want to get into that maybe some other time. We're talking about blocking with these hands, and that's about the dumbest thing. Well, when he goes for a punch and I try to block like this, how many chances do I have to catch that? That's the most difficult thing. No, see? That's another thing. That's even dumber. You know when you do this? Because when your hand does this and he hits you here, guess what breaks? Oh yeah, you're using this, right? But no, when you use this, you have to come in here, which now leaves this hand completely. Well, no, but it's, the block is this one. So it goes to the outside. When that punch comes in, you block with the bridge. Right? You see praying mantis when they do this, right? And people say, wow, they catch you with their fingers. Well, that's even dumber. Because when my finger comes in, if my finger gets caught, guess what's going to happen to my fingers? I can't use chopsticks anymore, right? So the block is actually the cow, right? When it comes in, it's here. Then when it comes down, it's actually a strike, right? So if you punch
block to the outside, not a high block.
See, the Okinawas always go on the inside. And that's crazy. Because imagine a little girl, small with no power, trying to block on the inside, right? See, I consider myself like a girl. Well, I'm not that big and strong. If I go to fight any of you guys, you know, the Okinawas teach a lot of grabbing. If I grab you, right, I got you, right? Well, guess what? If I got you, grab me.
Yeah.
Then you got me. And if I got him and he's got me, who's dead? Me, right? Yeah. So I don't want to grab him. Why do I want to grab you? If I grab you, you grab me.
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, you're strong. He's stronger than I am. Christ, I'm dead. So when he comes to grab me, I want to keep away from him. I don't want to grab him. So there's a lot of grabbing stuff that we do. We might have to talk about another day.
So this is a block to the outside.
All right, let's talk about this.
Sorry.
Right, let's talk about, no, let's talk about this, right? What happens to my elbow when I come up and block with this?
It goes
Yeah,
out.
you're wide open. So the block is, you gotta keep your elbow when that punch comes in, it's here. Now, by stepping in, I can bring my hand down, and now I'm attacking with that hand. You punch with this hand, I do this, right? And by stepping in, I'm coming in with the other hand, right? Not everything is a block and not everything is a strike, okay? You can say that if this punch comes in, I can do this, and I can hit with this hand, right? Of course I can, but why? This is more difficult than this. Why don't I hit with this? You don't think there's a possibility, yeah, I can hit with this, but why? Why would you do something that's more difficult when you get something easier, right? Use the easiest possible way to smack your opponent, okay? So yeah, we can always hit with this, okay? And in Tiger Crane, when you go a punch, what do you do? No, punch, right? It's here, right? Now when I first went to China, I wanted to study with them. And they don't just take anything, right? But I'm in practice, and I said, hey, can you teach me your kung fu? And he said to me, no. Oh, boy, they do, right? They go, no. You're not from our school, you're not from our organization. We don't teach anybody outside. So I go there to train with a good duty, every day. And finally he comes over, he goes, you're pretty diligent. He goes, yeah, maybe I'll talk to the master, maybe we'll take it for a student. I said, oh, I appreciate that. Okay, and then afterward he said, yeah, I told him, he said, yeah, we'll give you a try. I said, how much do I pay him? Don't talk about money. I said, why? Martial art isn't about money. That's why I come here and I said, give me anything, right? Because martial art is an exchange of ideas, and it's all done in goodwill. He said, you go talk to the instructor, says, I'll pay you this, you teach me this. He'll take your money and teach you nothing because you're flashing money in his face like you don't respect him, like because you get money. He'll teach you nothing. He'll take your money. No, he'll teach you garbage. That's why there's so many people in America that study certain kind of martial art and they suck because they don't know anything, because they don't tell them anything, because you try to bribe them with money. He said, you come here, you work out hard, he'll teach you. So I work out every day. When it was time for me to leave, I worked out about a month with him. And I wanted to give him just like $100 US money. He would just give him like $20 American money, he'd be happy as hell. He's not here to take your money. If you're interested in studying this martial art, he will teach you. The same as me. I travel to Cuba, I go to the UK, I teach in Argentina, I teach in Mexico, I teach in Germany. I never charge them. As a matter of fact, a lot of places says, well, Darin, we collected all this money for you to come here to teach. I take their money and I donate it back to the dojo. I don't go around teaching for money, because martial art it's a state of being, it's goodwill. And if you teach for money, you're looking at martial art in a different way, right? And so when I studied in China, all the masters I studied, we never talk money. When I leave, I give them a red envelope with just like pocket change, and they appreciate it, right? Because if you pay, they think we're trying to buy it or they go, you can't buy me. I will teach you nothing. So, anyways, there's a lot of things that are in martial arts that we don't realize. And I would even go as far as saying there's a lot taught that most of the so-called masters don't understand. I'll give you a good example. The 5 original animals, we talk about it. You know why? Anybody know what the 5 original animals in Kung Fu is? In martial art is the 5 original animals. Anybody know what they are?
Mantis? No.
Mantis, no.
Tiger, crane, dragon.
Yeah, well, you check that off all the time.
Snake?
It's another tiger, a monkey, leopard, a rat.
Okay, no, they represent not styles. The animals represent an aspect of the training. See, a lot of people don't know that. The 5 different animals are dragon, crane, and tiger, snake, and leopard. Right? Leopard. Well, leopard is like another cat, but there's a difference between a leopard and a tiger. See, in Uechi Ryu, we practice Sanshin. First Sanshin is slow. Right? We know that first Sanshin is slow. Why is it slow? It's dragon style. According to the dragon, you learn and you do it slow for perfection. You say, where's my hands? Too far in, too far out. My leg, where they belong. Number two is the crane. You practice the crane for the flow in your movement, right? Of the flow. And the tide is about power and strength. The snake is about flexibility and speed. And your leopard is about the intelligence of fighting. Knowing when to stop, knowing when to go, when not to, and when to do it. And learn about understanding. Because one of the smartest fighting animals is a leopard. He'll have a kill, he'll bring it up to the tree so nobody else can come after him. Right? A leopard, when has a kill, when the hyenas come, they go, oh shit, I'm out of here. Right? Where a lion will stay and fight to the death.
Yes.
Right? So in Chinese martial art, the 5 animals represent your aspect for training. Right? Your dragons for perfection, they represent the heavenly creatures and the emperor and the goddesses, and everything is perfect. The crane is about the flow of the movements, and the tiger is about the power. And that's what Sanshin is about. First Sanshin is slow and perfection. Second Sanshin is about the fluidity of movement. And third Sanshin is about the power in which you train. That's what those 3 animals represent. Snake is stretching, about flexibility, how you kind of stretch, and about the importance of speed. And speed is important because those of us who don't have the mask, right? Like, I always tell people, you can't beat up when you can't hurt. As big as he is, no matter how much I pound on him, if I can't hurt him, I can't beat him, right? You can't, and that's why you have to practice speed and turn and run away, right? So, and then there's a leopard about the intelligence of knowing when to do that and what to do. And this is why I tell everyone, when you train, you dissect, you analyze, and you experiment. So when I look at the Wauki block, when we do this, I see people do Conchiwa, and the hand comes way out here. Well, who the hell is over here? Oh no, you see people do these windmills. Who's over here? Nobody. But why are you blocking over here? What makes his hand doing this? You watch Kanai. Kanai doesn't do this. He drops his hand. It's only to the width of his body, right? Tomiosi says you use the wall. Okay, and here's the wall. He says you use the wall. Your fingers stays on the wall. So when you rotate around the wall, you know the width of your body, you stay within the width of your body. Now, your arm should be straight. But so many Uechi guys I see, they do this. They bend their arm. When your arm is bent, there is no power. Okay? Just because you're moving and covering your body doesn't mean it works. Right? If I go to punch and his arm is bent, right? He can't move my arm. If I was really going to punch him in a fight, I punch here hard, and he used that block, I'm still going to hit him. But if his arm was straight, he would guide my hand outside. And no matter how powerful I punch, right? Don't even block hard. Just put your arm up. Okay, ready? Right, straight up, here. Right, I can't hit him. Ready? You know how fast I was hitting? And I couldn't hit him because it's effortless. It's without effort, and I'm punching right for the middle of his body. Right? Without effort, he's blocking my hand, and my punch is going away. You know a speeding train coming at 100 miles an hour, right? If I'm coming 100 miles an hour, I'm just slamming to him, right? But if you take the train track and you turn the tracks, he just turned my tracks. And no matter how fast I'm coming, I can't hurt him, I can't hit him. Right? You understand? Martial art isn't supposed to be a struggle. It should be a science of how to do something easily. So somebody of my size can fight somebody of your size and not have you hit me to be able to avoid getting hit. It's a science of fighting. We're learning a science. So this is why the bigger the person is, it doesn't scare me when I go to fight anybody who's bigger. In tournaments, right, I'm not the biggest guy, right? And when I fight internationally, it's a lot of weight classes, right? And I'm only considered a middleweight, or sometimes a light heavy. But when I finish and you fight in the finals, you're always fighting against the heavyweight, which is like a giant of a character, right? But I'm never afraid to fight them, right? I'll go out and fight them just the same. I remember in Taiwan, there's this big Hungarian guy,
Yes.
right? I hit him with a hop and side kick, and I knocked him down. I went over to help him up. Everybody grabs me like, what the hell is this? I just had my hand up. He goes, oh, stay away. He goes, we'll do that. Because people are not that friendly, so they're afraid that just because hitting me down, he thought I was going to jump on top of him. No, he went over to reach, and if I was going to jump on him, wouldn't I go a little faster? I was walking over to help him up. But you understand, it isn't so much a size. Size has a big advantage. But the best fighters are going to be the best technicians. This is why when I go to teach, I'm looking for exactness. That's why I talk about how high your hands are. Okay, look at your Sanchin. Some people do this in Sanchin. Okay, but who the hell is here? Why are we hitting down here this high? There's nobody here, right? This movement is a very important movement. We miss that movement because a lot of people are doing this. They bow and go. They miss this movement. But this movement is very important. We use that in Dan Kumite, right? We do that in our katas, and you don't even know it, right? People don't realize that this movement is Sanchin we use. What is this movement for? Anybody here pretty high kicker? Okay. So this movement here, when he goes to do a front kick, right? This, let me see. This here is used to attack. I don't block kicks. The reason why I don't block kicks, because learning Chinese Kung Fu, we learn that this leg is at the minimum 5 times stronger than my hand. His shin bones are bigger than my forearm. I don't care how many people break baseball bats or break blocks. Mass, when you talk about science, mass always wins out. When that kick comes out, and I try to block with my forearm, who's going to get hurt? Me. So, because this move is in Sanchin, so when he kicks, I use this to attack his Achilles. Right? Let me see that. Now, if I don't just attack his Achilles, I attack back here. Now, if I want to, and I can get by, I attack here. You know how many nerves he has here? Wow. Yeah. Well, in Uechi Ryu, we have an attack for that. We just don't know it. Right? This movement here. In Sensei Ryu, when we do this, right? I'm sorry, when we do this, when we come back, and we do this, that's what that's for. This 45 degree, I see Shinjo do this. And a lot of people, they do this in Sensei Ryu, and they go 1, 2, 3, and then they throw the arm up. Let's say you and I was fighting, right? And I step in at you like this. You okay with that? No, then why are we teaching that in our katas? Right? If we don't do that in a fight, why are we teaching that in a kata? Why are we doing this? You go, I'm going to get belt in the face. Now, it's 45 degrees, and there's a step. Why is that? It's because after this move, I face my opponent. If he throws a roundhouse kick with his left leg, it's in here, right? 45 degrees, go ahead. Here. And that's what that technique is. It's here. I'll do it this side so you can see it, right? Okay? That's what this movement is for. This hand is to stop a follow. And this is the block, right? And this is not just a block, this is an attack. I'm actually attacking the leg because I don't want to block this, a waste of time. So I might as well attack your leg, right? You can see what again, right? I do this for your Achilles, calf. I walk down, I'm smashing here. If I hit here, I'm hitting your shin, you hurt my forearm. So all I do is take my back leg and take half a step out, and now I'm not hitting your shins, right? And Dan Kumite, number one, if you come and punch, number one, you block, and then when you go to kick, I don't step back, I step sideways, and I hit here. That's how I do it, because I don't block kicks, I attack kicks. These moves are blocking roundhouse kicks. I get people saying, well, you do this, you come down and you grab the ankle. What are you, crazy? You think I'm gonna put my head down there? That's right. Not only that, you don't even have to have your knees. When I go down and just pound the top of my head, why would I even do that? You know, this is why sometimes I say to instructors, would you do that? I mean, you're teaching your students something. Would you do that? He says, no. What if you don't do it? Why do you teach it? Look at this move in Sei Cheng. They don't understand this move. They said the kick comes up, you grab the kick, and then you brush it to the side. Well, look at that fist. Did you see what he just did? Right? And I push it. I'm going to get punched in the face. I said, well, I'm not going to mention names. If you caught my leg when we were sparring, would you let me go? He said, no. I said, then why would you teach that if you don't do it? So if I caught your kick, why would I let you go? If I caught your kick, I'm going to hold on your leg and start beating the crap out of the other leg. Right? Why would I let that leg go? And they said, well, I got to catch my leg. And then some idiot, I caught his leg. He went to pull his leg back so he could punch. So I just pushed him. And he fell on his ass. I could see, what good is it? I caught your leg. So what is this move for? So ever since I came back from Okinawa, I asked them, what is that move for? They started doing this. But wait a minute. Our Aoki's like this, right? Our Conching is like this. Our Conching is like this. And then when you do your Sei Ryu, you do this. What have you learned? What difference have you learned? Now, Conching is inside, right? I mean, Sei Ryu is outside, outside in. Conching is inside out. They're different. They're used differently. If you don't know how to use a tool, you don't just throw it out the window. You dissect, you analyze, and then you want to experiment to find out how to use it, right? You don't just throw something away because you don't know how to use it. So you don't tell somebody that this is the move, or this is the move. When these are what the Chinese call the butterfly pounds. The butterfly pounds, they're like this. When you go to punch, right? Say punch, the butterfly pounds can be used when you bring your hand back or waiting for the hand to come back. So when you punch, you don't use it. Punch out. You always, when I block, you always bring it back in. That's where this movement is like this. Or, right, I can block with this hand and hit with this hand. Or you can punch, come in, block, and then smack with this hand. There's just so many things that you can do with this that you don't have to say, this is how you use the movement. Sei Ryu is done this way, right? But because they can't figure out the uses for this, now they do Sei Ryu like this. Yeah? Yeah, exactly.
That's the way I learned it
That's the way you learned it?
35, 40 years ago, yeah.
This is the original move. And in China, they have something similar. They call this the dragon hands. Huh?
I was trying to follow you, 'cause I want to.
Right here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So it's actually like this. This is 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks, 5 blocks, 6 blocks, 7 blocks. There's 7 movements in there.
Yeah.
But because you don't understand it, you don't throw it away.
We get that second, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's originally how it's done. You start here, you start here. You do this. That's how Sante Ryu is originally done. Conchin is the same way. When you hear, it's here, right? These are all moves, right? And that you don't understand. Does anybody remember Conchiwa, right? That's like a white belt kata, right? Do you know why we do this? Oh, let me do it from the kata. You turn, block, and kick. This, why we come back and do this? Why do we do that?
It's a trap.
Well,
It's a trap.
why are you stepping backwards? Why don't we just do this and just finish off here? Why do we step backwards? No, to avoid getting hit. Right? So get a fighting stance. If I did this, I turn, block, and kick, and I use that all the time in tournaments, by the way, because when he's coming at me and he's aggressive and he makes the first move, I step back, and in order for not to get hit, I put up my foot and I push him back. It's really not a kick. It's just a push, right? But a lot of referees say, stop, here, front kick, point. I'm not going to say no. I wasn't trying to kick him. I'm just trying to push him away, you know? But you notice that movement in Uechi Ryu. It's in 3 different katas. You kick, and then you step forward hit. What this does is it pushes your opponent back, and while they go back slightly off balance, you charge and grab his hand. When you go to punch, you don't want him to block with this hand. So you hit here, so he can't. Now, how do you keep me from hitting you? No, you can't. I gotta hold you. So what do? No, you can't because I got this, right? Turn your shoulder in. Okay? Now, with that shoulder, see where that punch is? Right. So that's why we back up. So here. See, this is why Uechi Ryu is so complicated. And people don't understand the movements in it, so they don't teach it, they don't explain it. The reason is, if I keep him from stopping this punch and I go to punch, and he blocks this punch, and he goes to punch back, that's what this is.
Put your hand out, yeah.
Okay, you know why this hand's here? You know why this left hand's here? Well, punch low. I'm on this side. If I was this side, you punch low, I can't get there. But if I'm here and you punch low, I'm here. Now, if you punch high, I'm here. Right? I have this hand to cover high, I have this hand to cover low. This is why we're here. See, Uechi Ryu have so many hidden things in it that unless you dissect, you analyze, or you won't understand it, right? And you don't understand it, you can't teach it. And there's so many people that don't understand. And the Conchiwa, the reason why you back out is to get out of reach of that punch. Now he is going to hit, and I'm covering myself with the other hand. Okay? It's such a great system. All the moves are there to teach you a lot of different things. That if you really open your mind and look at the movements and get the understanding of movements, then there's just so much in Uechi Ryu. I mean, you just. Now, my turn, block, and kick. Let's talk about my turn, block, and kick. If I'm here, and I turn around this way, and I do a block, no, you go punch, this is where you hit me. If I block you here, can I kick you? No, you're too close. How am I going to kick you? I'm going to get my leg. So the turn, block, and kick, I can't kick him. So what I do, my turn, block, and kick, I'm here. I turn. When you punch and I do my block, I slide back. You notice me online teaching? When I turn, I always slide back. And I do my block. The reason why I slide back is because when I slide back, it gives me room to throw my kick in. Right? Look at Conchin when we do this.
Changes your balance too.
Huh?
It changes your balance too.
That's right. But now I'm balanced. So Kanchen, I do this. Right? My opponent is coming from this side. I'm going punch. I go 1, I'll punch again. 2, I'll punch again. 3. Now you notice in Kanchen, my kick is only this high. Right? See, when you see me do Kanchen, I'm here. Right? And I just go 1, 2, 3, and that's all I do. Not because I can't kick high. Well, I can't because my opponent is right here. He's too close for me to kick high. So I have to kick low. That's why I kick low. But my second one, I can kick high. And that's why my second one kicks high. And then I do a block and I charge. And this is why I do my kata the way I do it, because I do it for fighting. I don't do it for dancing or try to impress anybody. I strictly do my katas for fighting. And this is why you see sometimes, I know what I'm trying to do. For instance, your rich hand is Seisan. You see people do this. Okay. Knowing that everything you do is mass times acceleration. Okay, if I do this, where do I get my mass? My body's here, and you can't get it out there. The only mass is my hand. And how much acceleration can I generate from here? I might just piss you off, right? But I can't hurt. Right? Shinjo, you hold a baseball bat, he takes a rich hand, he breaks the baseball bat. How's he do it? Does he do it like this? Or does he do it like this? He do it like this, right? Because he used all this momentum. And he's one powerful SOB, and he's got all this mass behind him. So Shinjo will break that baseball bat like this. And it's not, but you don't see him break it like this, right? So when we do Seisan, why do we do this? Where is our power? Where is, you can't. That's why when I do Seisan, I come out here. Because my strike is actually from out here.
So you turn your hips into it to do that strike?
Well, no, because,
It's a lot bigger.
well,
Or just more of a larger circle?
yeah, see, there's a lot both within that. Hanga Kung Fu, Tiger Crane, it's a master system. You have to be a master in some system to study Hanga. But not in this country. People say, I study Hanga. I say, well, what other style did you study? Well, not this Hanga. You can't. In China, you can't study Hanga unless you master another system. Because Hanga, like Uechi Ryu, has a lot of hidden movements. If you don't understand the hidden movement, the whole style has zero. This is why I spend the amount of time I spend 69. 70, 30, 40, 50, 55 years. I studied Uechi Ryu. I studied Kung Fu for another 10. I've been studying martial arts for 60 some odd years, right? I analyze all my Uechi movements and say, what are they? Where's my power? Where do I get my power? And if that doesn't get me power, how do I do that so I can have power? And then you get different teachers say, that's not how you do it. Okay, you do it your way, I'll do it my way. You know, you hit me, I'll hit you, see who gets hurt. Right? Well, look at our grind strikes, right? After your grind strike, we do this. And then we turn around and we do this, right? You realize this here relies on momentum. So this is, I want everybody to try this. Everybody stand in a left side check. Right? And go like this with your hand. Straight, no, back and forth. Now, I want you to put it back and do it really hard, but go straight out. All right, you feel that power? Now I want you to put it into the middle. Do you feel the same power?
No.
No, because there isn't any power in your hand going around like this, because there's no mass behind it. So how do you get power when you do this? By turning your hips. If I'm here, I do this now. There's no power. But if I turn my hips in the straight, look at the back of my, you know, when I'm online, I said, I can tell from the back, watching your back, that there's no power in your groin strikes. What do you mean? Because your hand is here. When I come out, your hand stops here. The guy standing behind you here, his groin is here. How are you gonna hit him in the groin? He's got an awful big Johnson. You gotta rotate your body so you can hit center mass. And I'm telling you guys, you're not hitting center mass. What good is that strike if you can't hit anybody with it? Right? So when I do say something, after I'm here and I do the screw strike, I turn this way, and when I go straight, I rotate my body so it's center mass. And I block. And when I go straight, you know, I rotate my body. So both hands are hitting center mass. I'm hitting the guy behind me in the groin, I'm hitting him in the groin, right? If you don't turn your hips, you can't hit anything, right? So when Takamiyagi came down to me back in like the early 70s and says, no, your body gotta be straight, you can't rotate. I'm saying, that just destroyed the whole idea behind what you're hitting, what you're trying to hit, and where you hit. Okay, let's talk about this movement. Look, it looks cool, right? But what are you hitting? Where's your power? When you do this, and you start doing this, where's your power? Right? There isn't any. What is your target? That is, so what are you trying, the face? Well, you think if I'm here, well, you think I can hit you from here? And if I do hit you, do you think I can hurt you? Okay, I go with the process of pointing half hard and half soft. When I do this, it's soft. It's like a whip. It comes in and it hits. Now this is hard. I'm using my entire mass. Going 1, 2. I'm using the mass of my body. So when I hit, I'm going to hit the hurt. So if I hit, I'm using my body to hit back, using my weight, right? But if I did this, I'm not hitting anything.
So you're coming back to your chest again right now, using that mass.
Yeah,
Right.
my entire mass. And I rotate. When I do this, it's like whipping my hands like Shinjo does. I'm up, and then when I hit, I'm using my mass. I'm turning my body into it. 1, 2. You see, notice my hips turning? Now, do you understand why it's 1, 1, 2? Now, why don't we just go 1, 2, 3? You don't understand why 1, 1? I'll tell you why it's 1, 1, 2. 1 means get in a fight scene. So I'm here. 1 is just means I'm coming to hit him. 1. 1, 2 means if you go to punch, 1, 2. You use the first one to block and the second one to hit. So you're learning 2 techniques. You learn to tap, then you learn to block and then hit. So it's 1, 1, 2. That's why the count is 1, 1, 2 instead of 1, 2, 3. The Okinawans knew how to count 1, 1, 2, but they can't explain why. Right? Well, think about it. Okay? Where do I not make any sense? Right? I mean, I'm open-minded, right? So I tell anybody when you disagree with what I'm saying, please enlighten me, because rank means nothing. We're all here to learn, and I'm here to learn. If you have something that I could say, I have no problem submitting that something is of better use, and I'm willing to learn, right? Because when I was in Cuba, you know, I was teaching, and Norton said, Sensei, he goes, I do everything just like you now, right? I goes, I'd rather see you do things like you. So when I come here next time, I can learn from you. He says, what? You learn from me? I goes, yeah, why not? I said, because of my rank doesn't mean I know everything. Nobody knows everything. If you have something to teach, you know, and I tell people when I got promoted to 10, you know, I get all these congratulations from all over the world, and I write back to them, you know, I thank you for the congratulations, but because I'm 10th degree, it doesn't mean that I I know more than you, or I know everything. It just means that I started my road, my journey, a lot earlier than you. And I said, and I look forward to the days when you can exceed me in understanding. I said, and I would follow you with pride and with honor. You know, I'm not embarrassed that somebody has no more than me. As a matter of fact, I tell my students, I expect them by the time they hit my age that they know more than me. Because if they know less, then I really did a poor job in teaching them, right? If I did a good job, all my students should advance. So I said, I look forward to learning from you. And they're all there. I said, no, really. I said, you know, younger kids, like you, right? You guys are younger. They're smarter than I am. When you get to my age, when you get enough training, right, you actually become more experienced than I am. And I'm never ashamed when I learn something. Yeah, that sounds right? So I'm never too overlooked. Okay, so how much time do I have? Well,
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Listen, can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
This room here, we got one, two.
okay,
Is there any reason why we're doing that?
yes. Once you turn and kick up, right, you hit somebody's stomach, they slightly bend over.
Right.
This hand comes down, but you don't slap the knee because you can't pull the guy's head to your knee.
I guess the question is, why is there one?
1, 1, 2, yeah. Because when you're down, you have them down here. The 1 is to strike down. 1, 2 is that the hands are coming to ground. You have to separate the hands and then hit.
Okay.
1,
So the same thing. This could just.
always the first one
Punch,
is,
a punch without a block.
Yeah, and
This is
then-
a block.
yes, or sometimes it could be a movement to move it away.
Right.
Okay, see, I only get 2 minutes.
You take more time.
Huh?
If we go over a little bit, it's not big.
Okay, what I'd like to do is, everybody knows sunshine, right? I just want to go to sun, no, I want to go teach you a little more about techniques. Okay, you know, in our kata, we have the nukate, right? We have this block and strike. How many people ever use that in a fight? I use it all the time, okay? I use it all the time. If I was in the tournament, put your hands up to fight, okay? You're a righty, right? I'll go the other way, like a righty, is the fight mostly righty? Oh, I can do the other way. So, when you do the Waoki block and the nukate, right? Nobody does it, but I do. You know why? Because I don't do this for a block. I use this by turning sideways, and it becomes a shooter, an attack. So I'm here, I come in, I attack. Now, in order to keep me from hitting you, you're gonna block. Once you block, what is open? That's when my strike down low comes. So when I'm in tournaments and I'm fighting, I do this. Right? So this hand comes right up to your head. It draws the hand up and throws the nukate. So I use this nukate all the time. It's just that you have to remember, deception is very important. Me not being the biggest, strongest guy, I use a lot of deception. Like, if you're in a fighting stance, I come in, I throw a back into your head, right? So you gotta cover. And then the next thing I do is I throw a reverse punch to your chest. And you gotta block, right? Or you back up. And if you back up, I throw a front kick. So my technique is backhand to the head, reverse punch to the chest, and reverse kick to the stomach. And I keep practicing, right? And this backhand means a lot to me because a lot of times, if I want to hit you on the left side of the head, I'll put my right hand up, right? And then I spin and get in, and I'll hit you on this side of your face. So what I do is I get you to look one way, and I hit you in another way. Okay, so let me, I think I got the arrow, so. And I apologize, because there's so much I want to try to get in one day, and it's been very difficult to try to get everything in one day, so.
You're always welcome to come back.
Yeah.
Anytime you want.
Well,
I know it's not cheap.
now, it used to be, it used to only cost like $120 some odd to fly from from Tampa up here. Now it costs like 400 some odd bucks. Whew. Thanks. With the fuel costs going up, and as I removed straight, I ought to swim here. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming. I hope I, brought across something that's useful. And understanding that when you train, to look for what gives you the most power. Okay? My son Chin, I always say to myself, when I come back here, if my hand is by my hips, there's no power for me. If I brought it up to my ribs, then there's power for me. Feel it. Go like this, from your rib, right? Come up, no, go to your rib. And you feel the power that comes out. Now go to your hip, and just try to do that. Right? You feel there's a lot more power from here. Okay? It's just little things that you do, right? That little changes, little nuances that could change, that could make your calf so much stronger. Anyways, I want to thank everybody very much, Bob. Thank you. And thanks for putting up with me.